Hi, welcome to San Jacinto's Virtual Family Night 2021. In the following slides, you will see some expectations for pre-K by the end of the year and different things that we feel would be beneficial for students entering into kindergarten. On this slide, we have our pre-K goals, what we're working on in the classroom throughout the year, so that the students can be prepared when they start kindergarten. The first thing is writing their name, making sure that the first letter in their name is capitalized and all the other subsequent letters are lowercase, knowing all of their colors, knowing all of the letter names and the sounds that they make. The ability to be able to listen to a story and tell what it's about, draw a picture and tell a story to match it, looking at two words like frog and dog and saying if they rhyme, and identifying the beginning letter sound of a word. So here are some of our goals continued. The first one is segmenting words, putting a word into parts like ig, identifying shapes, our basic shapes, completing a pattern, identifying numbers 1 through 10 by looking at them out of order, counting and telling how many of a set there are, rote counting to 30, so being able to say the numbers from 1 through 30 aloud, and cutting on the lines and being able to hold a pencil correctly. On this slide, we have some behavior goals that will help your student while they are in pre-K and in the following grades to come. The first one is I can follow my teacher's directions. I can raise my hand to speak. I can stay in my seat. I can clean up after myself. I can complete my work. I can help and teach others. I can solve a conflict with others. I can persevere when something is difficult. I can do the right thing even when no one is looking. I can make someone else feel special. I can use my words to tell how I am feeling. I can take turns and share. I can learn new skills. I can use good manners. I can ask questions if I don't understand. I can calm down if I get upset. So these are a lot of different social and emotional skills that we work on here in pre-K that will also help your child in kindergarten next year. On this slide, we have one of the most important things that we learn here in pre-K, which is identifying letter names and the sounds that they make. As you can see on the slide, the letters are jumbled. They're uppercase and lowercase for identifying the letter names, and that is how we test. We test out of order. And so making sure that your child is practicing daily, looking at different flashcards to help them learning not only their names of each letter, but also the sounds that they make. On this slide, we have our numbers from 1 to 10. Students should be able to identify the numbers out of order just by looking. On this slide, we have a copy of a pre-K report card. Some of the different things that we test for throughout the year in literacy are recognizing the student's first name, being able to say their first and last name when questioned. The ability to be able to write their first name correctly is something that they should have down by the end of the year. The ability to retell a story. So we read stories every single day, and just them having the ability to tell me what happened in that story in the beginning, the middle, and the end. For math, rote counting to 30, which is counting out loud from 1 all the way up to 30. Sorting by one attribute, for example, sorting by color or by shape, picking one of those things. Sorting living and non-living things. As far as social and emotional, we went over some of the skills on one of the previous slides of what we like to focus on, but here are some other things that we look for report cards: following the classroom rules, cooperating in a large group, which would be like the whole group, and then cooperating in small group. For physical development, we have, that's for our specials, participating in music and PE and in art. And then also for physical development, we have cutting on a line, and they get a square traced, and they have to cut around the square. In the second 6 weeks, we focus on our basic colors and the 4 basic shapes: circle, square, triangle, and rectangle. In the third 6 weeks, we continue with the colors and shapes, and we also add in recognizing numbers from 0 to 10. And like we saw in the last slide, those will be out of order, so making sure the students can recognize them in a different order than what they typically see. In our fourth 6 weeks is when we check for uppercase and lowercase letters, that they can recognize and identify them, as well as the sounds each letter makes. On this slide, we have our CLI Engage. CLI Engage is an assessment that we use at the beginning, middle, and end of the year to see how the student is doing and how they're progressing. So some of the things that we test for are rapid letter naming, so being able to say the names of the letters quickly and out of order. Vocabulary, which the students look at pictures and then say what they see. Syllabication, which is clapping out syllables, like how many parts are in a word. For example, if I said football, they would clap out 2 parts. Onset and rhyme is saying a beginning sound like and then and they have to put that together. What does that word say altogether, which would be mom. Alliteration is looking at 2 words and saying if they have the same beginning sound, like ball and baby. The answer for that one would be yes, they both begin with a B sound. For rhyming, they're looking at 2 words and or listening to 2 words and saying if they rhyme or not, like frog and dog. For letters, sound, correspondence, they're looking at letters and they're saying the sound that each letter makes. And then we have story, retell, and comprehension. I will read them a story, and then they have to tell me what happened in the beginning, middle, and end. And there's also some basic comprehension questions. As far as math, we are looking for rote counting. So we start at 0 to the highest number they can go to. Our goal for pre-K is at least to the number 30. Naming those basic shapes, identifying numbers, naming numbers, looking at a group of shapes to see which one does not belong, counting sets of objects, and addition and subtraction for basic numbers up to 5. I also wanted to go over some attendance expectations that we have. Regular attendance is crucial for success in elementary school. Absences do add up. Even if your child misses just a few days here and there, his or her grades are likely to suffer because they're missing instruction that is really crucial at this time. Elementary attendance affects reading, and frequent absences in elementary school have been shown to significantly affect a student's reading skills. So please make sure your child is here as much as possible. Here are some online resources that can help assist your students. The first one is Waterford. That app is downloaded to all of our student iPads. And then finally, we have starfall.com that has both reading and math activities for students to work